I started treating my husband the way he treats me, and he completely lost it.
Hey, it looks like you can give it, but you can't take it.
Yesterday, we had a huge fight about household chores. My husband helps with laundry every Saturday and empties the dishwasher at best once a week.
What do you mean? You only do dishes once a week.
That's it. Last night, he got pissed while he was drinking and decided to go clean his toilet and bathroom floor at like 10 at night with the "woe is me. I can't believe I had to do this"
Well, you should have thought that. You should have thought about that before you were a stinky boy with
Attitude.
a smelly bathroom.
And he kept arguing with me from the bathroom. I told him that just because he cleans his pissy bathroom once every 3 months, that doesn't make him effing Cinderella. By the way, this comes from Christmas, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Dakota.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, him saying that he has to do everything around the house got me seeing red. I went to bed without washing the dishes or clearing the kitchen. This morning, I got my breakfast, did not touch the dishes, and sat in front of my computer. When I was done eating, I put my dishes on the counter and left them there. I'm not doing those dishes, and I'm not cooking dinner. We have sat down and had several conversations about this several times. I bet my father never had to clean the bathroom, is the kind of response I usually get from him. Updates. Are we eating dinner tonight? I don't know. Are you cooking dinner? Okay. Wow. Well, I figured since you said you do everything around here, I could just chill and you take care of it like you always do. He made himself a sandwich and had dinner at his computer. I made myself some food and ate it in the living room. A couple hours later, he announced he ran the dishwasher because the dirty dishes stunk. He asked if I was boycotting that too. Well, like I said, since you do everything around here, I figured you had it under control. He said I was brutal. He leaned over to drink some water, and guess what? No water. In 16 years, he hasn't done that chore once. I told him that crap doesn't just happen by magic and turned off the light.
No water?
No, I mean, I'm assuming it's like a Brita or something. That's what I was
Never
thinking.
refilled the water filter.
I opened up to a friend who had been through a divorce and had some good advice. Was it divorce? My next step is to get an appointment with a therapist. And there is an update 16 months later. Wow.
You know what? I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that everything has changed.
Yeah, he's turned his whole life around.
Yeah.
Their marriage is perfect.
Yeah, I'm going to say that he woke up.
About 2 months after the original post, I made my first therapy appointment. I've been seeing them weekly since then. Having someone to talk to that had no stake in the game made the most difference. I didn't even realize how isolated I was. Still, I started hearing things like, that's not normal in a respectful, equitable relationship. Opening up to my therapist helped me open up to other people. First, a friend who had gone through divorce, then more friends, then my sister, then my mother. What I heard across the board was, that's not normal. He's an a-hole. We met 20 years ago, moved in together 17 years ago, and got married 13 years ago. You've been dealing with this for that long?
Maybe has it always been that bad, I wonder?
I was 23 when we met and had never lived with a partner before. When the berating started because I wasn't pulling my weight once I moved into his house, I just thought, I'm so lazy. I didn't think it was weird that he let his elderly mother cook for him every night, despite her health issues, or that his dry cleaning became my responsibility even though he drove by the cleaners 4 times a day, or that he would talk about his money, his house, his bedroom. Whenever I brought my concerns to him, he would give very long speeches about everything I didn't do and all the bad things happening to him, which excused him from responsibility. He was the king of, I'm sorry, but I would end up comforting him. So I'd lock myself in my bathroom to cry. After a while, I stopped trying. And after years of this, I stopped crying.
Oh, no.
It's tragic.
Oh.
He was 51 when we met. I was 23. Wow. Yep. Yep, there it is. Yep. Yeah, wow. I'm sorry. He was 53 having his sickly mother make him dinner every night, and then he found a 23-year-old maid to marry. How old is he now?
70s.
Jeez.
Are we in a nightmare? Why? Did we do this?
He had been married twice before. When his DNA results from an ancestry kit showed up, I found out he had a son he knew about all along and gave up for adoption. This was 15 years after we met and 9 years after we got married. Eventually, they met in person, and I started observing his interactions with his son and noticed the same patterns. And I thought, if it makes me upset that he treats his son that way, why am I not as upset that he treats me that way too? After a lot of therapy and educating myself, I was ready to accept I was in an unhappy, harmful marriage. He got a full medical workup after he developed encephalopathy
Yes.
from booze withdrawal that won him a stay in the ICU. I went with him to the results appointment, and there were no traces of anything wrong. As soon as we got home, I sat him down, and for 2 hours, I vomited out all my concerns, fears, disappointments. I set 2 boundaries. I would not purchase booze for him, and I would not talk about our relationship if he had been drinking. I laid out a plan for how our marriage could be more equitable. I asked him to go to counseling. He said he wasn't crazy. I asked him to be in charge of dinner 1 night a week. I have a full-time job. He is retired. But his health issues would always be bothering him that exact day. He would not participate in household chores, always giving the excuse that his pain would not allow it. So I asked for things he could do sitting at his computer, plan meals, find recipes, text the lawn guy. That didn't work either. Too depressed, too anxious, too overwhelmed. He would text me while I was working so I could call someone for him even though he was home. When I moved to the States, I had a man who loved me and I was looking forward to my new life. But he was looking forward to a younger woman who would cater to all of his needs and take care of him in his old age. I was the chef, the maid, the planner, the therapist, the nurse. I was also the too sensitive, the lazy butt, the radical feminist.
Radical
Christmas, yeah.
feminism.
Yeah.
Making a man do basic household chores.
This is ridiculous. My father would never have stood for this.
Well, I built that railroad with my big toes, and you're not going to make me do the dishes when I have chronic big toe pain.
And that's what he said. Last Christmas, 2023, I told him I wanted to do a small holiday. We'd get a small tree, maybe make ornaments together, but he pouted and didn't participate. As we were watching our Christmas Eve movie and he was witching about how I didn't make his favorite shrimp, a switch flipped in me and I just knew our marriage was over.
Bruh, that switch should have been
Flipped 20 years
long
ago.
ago.
But I'm glad it flipped now. A week later, I started browsing rental ads. Early in 2024, I contacted landlords. And after unanswered applications, my therapist mentioned an apartment building. I called and someone would be moving out in about a month. When I saw it, I knew that was my next step. I got my keys about a month ago and spent many days sneaking my stuff out. When I had taken everything I could without him noticing, I brainstormed with my therapist, best friend, sister, and mother on how to break the news.
Your sister and mother, were okay with this?
Well, it seems like they were all, when OP told them what was going on, they all said, that's terrible, that's not okay, he's an a-hole.
I mean,
So maybe they were just holding it in?
if I had a family member who is
Yeah.
23 getting married to
Yeah.
a 50-year-old man,
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, every element of this has got to be A+ territory if this is going to be
Agreed.
like a sign, hey, we're okay with this.
Yeah. I walked up to him and said, for the sake of our marriage and for both our sakes, I cannot be here anymore, and He just got really down and felt sorry for himself. It was the weirdest 2 days ever, where I'd be packing and quietly crying while he'd just be sitting there either talking about other things or not talking at all. 2 days later, I had packed 95% of my things. He kept asking if I had everything I needed, even made me a care package with sleeping aids. I put clean sheets on the bed, hugged him, hugged my dogs, and left. I have never cried so much in my life. Years of unhappiness and repressed emotions all came back. But I realized the crying wasn't hurting me. It was the fear of crying that was giving me anxiety. So I started letting myself cry. My boss, who was also a close friend, really showed up for me. She made sure I felt supported at work, had meals with me, and let me vent. I moved out on Wednesday. That day was emotionally horrifying. Thursday was also horrible, but on Friday, after dinner with my boss, I put on some music and realized I actually effing did it! I moved out! I advocated for myself and made it happen. My therapist told me my husband was showing self-absorbed behaviors. I was shocked because he's always down on himself and needs validation. She said narcissism is deeply rooted in insecurity and can present in different ways. I had no idea there was covert or vulnerable narcissism. The more I read, the more it sounded exactly like him. There is no fixing a marriage with someone with NPD. By the way, you can fix your relationship with us by listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
Congratulations.
Nice. Good job. I'm proud of you, OP. That was a big leap to make, and you did it.
Especially after the amount of time you'd
20
been there.
years, yeah.
A lot of people probably would not ever get out of that until their partner just like passed away.
Yeah. When I left, he was bizarrely calm and loving, but later that night, the pestering started again. He said I was leaving him alone. He had no one to take care of him. He hurt too much to make food or order food, and I was going to unalive him. Begging me to drop him off food, literal all caps, I'm begging you several times. I didn't cave because he's a grown butt man, and I decided it was time to take care of myself. I've been back twice to see my dogs. I was not able to find a place that would allow large dogs, and it was basically me hanging out with the dogs while he went on about his misfortunes.
Yeah, dude. For real? Hey, buddy, survival of the fittest. If you can't figure out how to order food to your house, I don't know what to tell you.
Yep.
You might not be cut out for it, you know?
Agreed. A divorce is definitely in the cards, but a lot more of my ducks need to be in a row for that. And that is the end of that story. Leave that man behind and live your best life, girl. You got this. Oh, boy.
Mother of goodness.
Yeah, what a terrible guy. Just truly dreadful.
My husband refused to hold our newborn, but he was never like this.
Ew, get him away.
Babies, I'm allergic. My husband has yet to hold our son. He won't call him by his name. He always refers to him as the baby, and he won't do anything to help take care of him. On Tuesday, my husband moved into the camper to get, quote, quiet time, as he calls it. I've seen him for maybe 10 minutes since Tuesday. Up until our son was born, we had a great marriage. I don't know what to do. Any advice, please? And by the way, this comes from user Bloodhound Puppy. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Sophia.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give you good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do, so if you would do something different, let us know in the comments, as OP says. Last night, I called the fire station and talked to a firefighter about my husband's strange behavior since our son was born. With my husband's history of head trauma since he was a boxer from 12 to 28, I was concerned. Extremely relevant information.
Yeah.
They sent an ambulance. The paramedics evaluated him and told me something wasn't right. They decided to take him to the hospital. We've been there all night while my husband was getting scanned and tested. They did all kinds of tests involving memory. They used flashcards and mental quizzes and puzzles. I'm in shock as to how bad my husband's mental state is.
Wow.
It's embarrassing that I didn't notice how far he had declined. Maybe I didn't want to notice. Maybe it was a conscious decision. I doubt that.
No, I mean,
When
you
you live with
literally
somebody,
had a
yeah.
baby, too, and you were pregnant before. I mean, yeah.
You had a lot going on. I watched him struggle to name his hometown. He had lived there the first 22 years of his life, and he could not do it. Mother's name, father's name, he struggled with answering the most basic questions. I had noticed in recent years that he talked about the past less and less. He rarely tells stories about his past anymore. I didn't know that it was because he basically doesn't have a past anymore. All those pictures around the house hold no real meaning for him. He doesn't remember our first kiss, when he proposed to me, or very much about our wedding. He knows these things happened, but the specifics of those events are lost to him. A psychiatrist met with him, but she wasn't very helpful. She kept asking about self-harm. My husband isn't going to do that. She asked him misleading questions like she was trying to trick him into admitting it. When I brought up how my husband hasn't bonded with our son, she waved me off and told me she had rounds. The neurologist is awesome. He really cares. My husband's boss and some coworkers came this morning. They were more honest with me today than I think they have been in a long time. My husband hasn't been a trainer in 2 years. He used to go and get trained on all the new JD technology and then train the other techs. It got to the point where he couldn't do it anymore. He also has notebooks filled with notes and procedures he should know by heart. They're like his crutches so he can do his job. He rarely goes on field calls alone anymore. He usually takes someone with him. I met with a counselor that the neurology department employs to help patients' families deal with the fallout. She told me to prepare to take on more and more of the responsibilities around the house. It is a worry because my husband is the breadwinner, and I can't replace his income with my skills and education. She explained that patients with the trauma my husband has exist on routine. When something disrupts that routine, like a new baby, they often can't cope. My husband is staying for a few more days. Tomorrow he meets with a different psychiatrist and then is being transferred to a more advanced neurology center 3 hours away. With a little luck, I'll have a more definitive care plan and have him home by Wednesday or Thursday. Take care of your brain, kids. And there is a second update.
Oh, just terrifying. Especially, again, like OP's already trying to figure out how to care for a new baby.
This really is kind of a PSA of like not doing, I mean, that's what all of like the people who are like at the apex of those sports
just
are usually like, don't do this.
My mom never let Sam do any like football, any contact sports.
Yeah.
Just because, especially when you're a kid, it's just so dangerous.
It's dangerous. Update number 2. It has been a long and difficult week. My husband went to the city to the major neurological center on Monday, and they confirmed his diagnosis of CTE. He was there until Wednesday, and then he came home. We worked with a counselor there, and my husband held his son for the first time. He had this kind of bewildered look on his face. Then he teared up and said, "This is all I ever wanted, and I can't even enjoy it."
Aww.
That broke my heart, and I had to leave the room for a while. Brain injuries are tricky. The neurologist said the best case is my husband doesn't deteriorate any more than he already is. When I asked about the worst case, they told me to be prepared to put him in assisted living. That's something you never want to hear. This whole journey is a roller coaster. We're working with a counselor through a church in the area to try and develop some coping strategies. The biblical counseling is a ministry supported by tithing, so it doesn't cost us anything. We have a standing appointment every Friday at 4. With my husband's injury, he can function well on a routine, but babies don't do routine. 5 a.m., my husband gets up, then he goes for a 6-mile run, then calisthenics, shower, shave, brush teeth, breakfast, and then he starts his day. If his routine is disrupted, he can't recover and adjust. Our dog adjusted to my husband's routine. At 5 a.m., she is ready to go for a run. Babies don't do schedules. It's hard not to get discouraged. I see my husband struggle so hard to adapt. It hurts him that he can't learn new tasks quickly. I'm patient and supportive, but he still gets frustrated. Like packing the diaper bag. He knows that we need stuff, he just can't do it without a checklist. Screw it, I'm making checklists. The nurse said it's important to try and make things as normal as possible. Watching a 35-year-old man not be able to figure out how many diapers to take on a trip to Walmart is heartbreaking. I made checklists for everything. If it's something he does all the time, he's better. It's learning new things that are hard. This might be one of the situations where like the overlay like glasses and like AI might actually be like incredibly helpful for somebody.
With the checklist and stuff.
Because you could have right in front of you, just like, what am I doing? And it's like bang, 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 bang. Like, oh, okay, this and that and this and that. Got it. Like, and first time I've ever thought that.
Yeah.
Really.
No, I agree.
I made checklists for everything. If it's something he does all the time, he's better. It's learning new things that are hard. For the past couple of years, in hindsight, it's baffling I didn't notice. All I can say is I must have fallen into the comfortable routines with him. I didn't question anything. If I asked him to do something and he refused, I just did it myself. It never occurred to me that maybe he wants to go out to eat breakfast because making breakfast causes him anxiety he'd rather not deal with. Go ahead and nominate me for Wife of the Year, although I'll probably be runner-up to Lorena Bobbitt. The owner of the dealership took us and the service manager out to dinner on Saturday to come up with a plan for keeping my husband earning. The owner is kind of old-fashioned and is adamantly opposed to seeing a young man like my husband depend on handouts to feed his family. Thank God. They're going to assign a junior tech to work with my husband full-time. He'll be there on every job helping my husband out. The dealership also has a bunch of old equipment on the lot that they can't sell. It's mostly scrap. They're going to clear out the lot in an auction, and whatever money is made will go to us to help pay for medical bills. Dude, shout out to this business owner for taking care of y'all. The general manager is also checking with John Deere Corporate to see if they have any assistance programs a dealer tech would qualify for. I think there's a foundation or something. They're also giving my husband a 40-hour check for his last week and not docking his PTO. My husband agreed to let me take over the finances. I don't think we're behind on anything, and our credit is good, so it should be pretty easy. Paying the bills and balancing a checkbook has been a real burden on him. It explains why he stopped letting me have access to the bank account a while back. He told me to just charge everything to the credit card and he'd take care of it. Another gigantic red flag that I missed. Looking back, there are so many red flags I missed. I feel like an idiot. I mean, I used to tease him about forgetting stuff. I made jokes about him being the punch-drunk old boxer. I feel awful. I feel about 2 inches tall. I can't imagine how bad I embarrassed him over the years. If I live to be 2,000 years old, I'll never be able to make it up to him. Well, you didn't do anything wrong. A lot of people don't understand, like, the nature of these kind of injuries. And a lot of people think, like, oh, well, if you have, like, a brain injury or you have CTE or you have, you know, it's like you'd notice immediately because it's like you wouldn't be able to do anything.
Yeah.
And that's just not the way it usually goes. Whoopi continues, the baby is doing great, and we're taking things one day at a time. Now that I'm not so oblivious, it's getting easier to take care of my husband and baby. My parents left on Sunday, and his dad flies home tomorrow, and then it's just us again. It was great having help for a little while. It's too bad we live in such a rural area. The neurology center in the city has outpatient programs that would help. It's 6 hours round trip. It's just too much to make the trip 3 times a week. We're kind of stuck where we're at.
Which that's hard because it's like, yeah, maybe you should move, but then that also disrupts routine.
Yeah, no, yes.
Yeah.
But a routine that you should do is listening to full episodes with stories just like this on your favorite podcast platform. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever it is, just search OK Storytime, and you can listen to more stories just like this. You have any final thoughts here?
I mean, be easy with yourself. Be gentle. This is already a hard task to raise a child and take care of your husband. And you're literally doing everything that you possibly could be doing. So be gentle with yourself.
Mm-hmm. We're going to keep a monthly appointment at the neurology center for monitoring. It's the best we can do. It's not like TV where people can effortlessly uproot their lives and do its best. In the real world, you sometimes have to take the worst option. We meet with a lawyer from our church on Wednesday to set up some documentation so I can handle the finances and make medical decisions. I think it's called a power of attorney. He's going to get us all set up for the price of one of my homemade apple pies.
Wow.
Man, shout out to community.
Wow. Like, truly, such a heartwarming element of the story is just the community around you guys.
Yeah. Thank you all for your support, and that is the end of that story. Really devastating, but also just, like, very beautiful example of partnership and community and resilience. Absolutely.
A video of my wife's affair went viral, and now the whole town knows.
Hey, it's time to monetize that, baby. Let's make some money.
About a week ago, I got contacted by my wife's best friend's husband asking if we could meet up and talk. Long story short, he dropped a bomb on me, telling me our wives were cheating on us, and showed me a video that had been spreading on adult sites of our wives and their friend having spicy sleep at their old house with some guys we've never seen before. By the way, this comes from Random Throw 1977, And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Dakota.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, when I confronted my wife about it, she went through all the stages of emotions and all the excuses she could come up with. She even said it wasn't her, even though her face is clearly visible. I immediately called my lawyer and explained everything, to which he told me to take a breather, collect my thoughts, and he sent me an email with things to do so I can take it step by step. I, 46 male, and my wife, 44 female, have 3 kids. Our daughters, 12 and 4, and our son, 9. They all go to school where we live. They're all doing sports or activities. They love it here. They're doing great, and this is where the biggest issue comes in. We live in a small town, and word has definitely gotten around. A lot of things I noticed before knowing this had happened make so much more sense now. Weird looks, people ignoring me, or flat out excusing themselves quickly when they talk to me. People know, people have seen it, and I'm so scared for my kids. Our eldest daughter has already received comments about it in school, along the lines of, "Your mother is a B word." And as someone who was bullied a lot in school, and knowing that these videos are close to impossible to take down, I'm terrified they're going to get bullied and that their lives are going to be destroyed. Genuinely, I think you have to move now. Get them out before this is even, an issue. The only possible option for me seems to be leave town and start over elsewhere. But I don't want my kids to miss out on their friends, their hobbies, and their activities. It's going to rip them out of their lives. But staying here, where everyone knows, seems incredibly unsafe. I'm probably missing a lot that I should be adding. Please, if there's any information left to share, I will update. But for the last week, all I've been grinding my head about is how to keep my kids safe. Is there anything I can do at all? I mean, I think talk to your older kids. Explain what happened. They're going to find out. Say there's a video of your mom cheating online. Obviously, for the younger kids, different.
You get industrial equipment and you build a bunker. And once you build that bunker, you tell your children that the world is coming to an end and they must live in the bunker.
Yeah.
And there is no internet in the bunker. And mom didn't make it.
Yeah.
So it's just you and the kids in the bunker forever.
My point is, I think you need to tell them the truth. Tell them now. And I think you need to get the heck out of Dodge. Update! It's been getting a lot of comments, and I'd like to thank you all for doing so. It really helps, even if it's just someone listening in. I wanted to post somewhat of an update to clarify things a bit more since I didn't really share enough information initially. People ended up giving great advice, but I asked the wrong questions, so to speak. My son is autistic. He's very attached to his teacher, who's made incredible progress with him. He doesn't respond well to changes in his life. Having him move places away from his mom, his grandma, his friends, his school, etc. is going to be incredibly difficult for him to the point where I don't know how he could recover from that. My daughter is an early teen. She has so many changes going on already, and she's finally found a group she's close with and fits in. Do you think I should take them away from here, completely flipping their lives upside down, if it means I can protect them from what's to come? Bullying. My mother, who loves her grandkids and loves my wife, lives in a retirement home. She's unwell and knows something is going on, but doesn't know exactly what. If I tell her exactly what happened, I fear that I'm going to break her and hurt her to the point where she gets sicker and sicker. Do I tell her what happened, or do I tell her a white lie to not risk it? She can't come and visit us often. We usually go to her unless it's holidays or about once every 2 months. I pick her up and bring her home. Moving means that's going to be more difficult. The kids love her, and I don't want to take them away from each other. Maybe we can move her too, or in a new place. The last couple of hours, I've been getting more texts from people who are concerned or are warning me about videos going around in WhatsApp groups. All in all, the effort we, a close friend and I, took to take down videos has been useless because it's going around town and there's no way to stop it. All I can do now is damage control. I just don't know what the right steps are for my kids. And so far, both my close friends and Reddit are almost 50-50 about it. My lawyer and I will discuss custody. I'm not sure how to do this yet. The kids love their mom and she loves them, and taking them away from one another might not be the best option. On the other hand, if she's seen with our kids and people put two and two together, they might still be unsafe even if we move. Therapy is being worked on for the kids and myself. I'm definitely divorcing my wife. I'm going to talk with the school board this week, and they've already started watching the kids for their safety. My wife called me and she wants to talk. I'm thinking about whether I should right now.
I think if you talk to her, you should record it, and I think
Yeah.
you should probably consult a lawyer to see what kind of reparations you would get for having to pay for moving your family because of your wife's actions in order to
Absolutely.
protect your children.
Agreed. My brother called, who's about 30 kilometers away, asking me what's going on because he's seen the video in a WhatsApp group as well.
What are people using WhatsApp
group?
for, dude?
That's what I'm wondering. I'm like,
What?
what WhatsApp groups are you guys in? I'm having a talk with my oldest daughter tomorrow, and I'm going to give her the space and time to express her feelings. I'm going to listen to her and let her make up her own mind. I'm going to support her and tell her I'm there for her if she needs me. And I'm going to try and explain it to her in a way that's understandable. I'm not going to slander my wife in front of her or any of our kids, for that matter. I think that's all for now. I'll try to keep up with comments and get back to you as much as I can. Again, thank you so much for your advice and for listening. My wife has not been talking up until just now, and I'm going to talk to her about what she's going to do to protect our kids. And there is a second update 4 months later.
Oh, no, I saw the first line.
Yeah. I still think you gotta move or boarding school or maybe, I mean, it still wouldn't be great, but maybe homeschool. 4 months later. Life has not been good the last few months. 4 months ago, I learned that my wife cheated on me and that it was recorded and spreading on adult websites. The biggest problem has been the safety and well-being of our 3 kids. I've divorced my wife, I've lawyered up, and we decided to move to another town. Yeah, because we lived in a small community and the damage was done. Our daughter received nasty comments, and I couldn't risk the kids being more exposed. It wasn't just the nasty comments, it's the looks you get and the fact that you know the entire town is talking about you and has seen the mother of your kids in such a way. First, my daughter. People suggested I should speak to her as soon as possible when I found out what happened to try and do damage control and be there for her. I did speak to her, and she already knew about it. She had also received nasty comments. In short, I feel like I was too late because I held off talking to her since I didn't know how to, or I was scared. She's in therapy, but she's not doing well. Moving schools was hard on her because she was finally making friends in what is a confusing time for a young girl. She's quiet, and I have a hard time communicating with her. I'm told that therapy could take time and that 3 to 4 months isn't all that much, but it hurts me to see her unhappy. She doesn't want to talk to me about the situation, which I completely understand. I have assured her that if she wants to talk about anything, I'm there for her. My son isn't doing well either. He's autistic, and it takes a long time for him to adjust and settle. He's had an amazing teacher and caretaker in school who he trusted. That's gone from his life, and he's just very uneasy about it. His parents split up, we changed houses and locations. All in all, it's been very hard on him, and we're trying to get him to feel secure and at ease. But so far, it's been difficult. Our youngest is doing fine, thankfully. She's too young to grasp what's been going on, even though she's been asking about mom and dad and why we moved. But she's actually enjoying herself, which is kind of a blessing at this point. My mother passed away 2 months ago. She's been unwell and living in a retirement home. I took the kids to see her as much as possible, which got harder as we moved places and was one of the factors I had to take into consideration about moving or staying. I never told her exactly what happened because I just couldn't. It would have wrecked her. I told her we were moving and that my wife and I split up. She asked why, of course, but I just told her we weren't seeing eye to eye about things and that everything was going to be all right. I feel conflicted about lying to her, but at the same time, I didn't want to burden her with something that's not going to get better. A lot of people were asking me things about my wife, the cheating situation, the video, etc., and I haven't really touched on that before because it simply wasn't a priority. So I wanted to touch on that here. Some people ask if there were signs of her cheating, and the short answer is yes. I just didn't see it or pay attention to it because you're in love, you got kids to take care of, and I might have been naive. Basically, she was more distant towards me, and we weren't intimate often. I figured she was just exhausted as life can be, especially with kids. She started going out more with her friends, paid a lot more attention to her looks, makeup, clothing, etc. She bought shoes she'd never wear. She was protective of her phone. I just thought she was having a good time with her friends, and I thought she deserved that. Minus the infidelity part. I got a lot of questions about AI and deepfake technology being involved in the video. Well, we already know that the wife admitted to it, so the answer is no. The video was recorded at my wife's friend's house. This was confirmed to me by her husband, who initially informed me about the situation. I'm aware AI can do scary things, but I recognized my wife easily. I recognized one of her friends. I recognized her shoes and clothes, and my wife confessed to the whole thing eventually. Is the video still online? Yes, and it's not ever coming down. A friend of mine works in IT, and he did everything he could as soon as I got the news, but it's basically impossible to remove completely. How did the cheating start or happen? How long? Were they wasted, coerced, or pressured? My wife locked herself in her bedroom for a long time, refusing to properly talk about anything. To be honest, I didn't ask much because the kids had absolute priority. I've been having therapy myself, and it was recommended that I do talk about it with my wife to get some closure, but only when I felt ready for it. I ended up talking to my wife, her friend, and her friend's husband separately. The cheating my wife did was a one-time thing, according to her. The unmarried friend has always been a promiscuous woman. Apparently, she had been hooking up with a guy she met on a forum and dragged my wife and their other married friend into it. There was a thrill to it, and they had been spicy texting this guy and other guys they met before. They went to a club somewhere, had drinks, and ended up home having spicy sleep. The video was taken by one of the men, and at the time, they all deny giving consent to it, but were aware they were being filmed. At some point, two of them look at the camera. Well, there is a huge difference between giving consent to filming something and giving consent to releasing it online. They could absolutely, obviously your wife is an a-hole for cheating and all of that, but she could absolutely sue whoever released this footage, and y'all could get a lot of money. After that night, my wife had been spicy texting one of the men for quite some time, but says she never acted on it again. Both her friends kept seeing them. The story is still vague as they, the women, have conflicting stories about what happened, but this was the gist of it, and I knew enough. And I know enough about you guys listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. That's all I need to know.
Yeah.
But there is a little bit left to this story. What a doozy it was.
Yeah.
Whew. Boy.
Yeah. Maybe she can sue for damages, and then you can get paid most of it because it damaged you and your children's
kids.
lives.
Yeah. I'm probably missing out on a lot still, and I'm willing to answer any questions. Right now, I'm in therapy, and so are my kids. My ex-wife still lives back in our hometown with her mother. The house is going up for sale. I'm still focused on getting my kids whatever they need, and I'm hopeful they'll get through this. The video is still being shared, and occasionally I get someone online asking me about it. Never in person.
Dude, who's doing that?
Truly. However, the worst seems to be over, and despite the worries I have for my kids not doing well at the moment, I still think moving was the right choice because back home, things got out of control. Wow.
Out of control is an understatement.
Mm-hmm.
Woo!
Yikes.
Yowza.
And someone says she won't sue because the men probably know the truth and the wives knew what they were doing. But again, there is a difference between knowing that you were being filmed and consenting to having that spread around. So, yeah, that is definitely, could be sued for that.